Bones are amazing things. They hold us up, they support us, they make us strong. But bones have other uses. In the past, bones were thrown by diviners, seeking out the mysteries of the future. Now the bones are cubes, made of plastic or resin, but they still reveal things to us. As they fall from our fingers and rattle across the table, the story becomes clear. Welcome to Bone Throwers Theater, an RPG actual play podcast. All right, thank you so much for listening to this commentary episode of Bone Throwers Theater. I am Jordan, and I am the GM, and we've pretty much just wrapped up our first session in our new campaign. Guys, we came up with a title during the off time. Johnny, would you mind sharing that with us?
The title we came up with is The Angel's Guard.
The Angel's Guard, yes. So I knew it was something. I thought it was like Guardian Angels or something like that. So I didn't want to mess that up. I knew you had written it down. So yeah, there was a lot of good stuff that happened. A lot of unexpected twists and turns today. The whole escape from Dincham House was completely off the cuff. So
yeah. Getting captured was off the cuff.
Getting captured was a bit of a mercy from the GM.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because otherwise we'd be dead.
Yeah. Everybody would be lying there.
4 new characters, please.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, well, we're not going to air those episodes. It's kind of... Well, honestly, I made this a little too powerful. I don't think it would have been that bad, except that I was rolling exceptionally, and all 4 of you were having a bad day with the dice.
Yes. Well, I'm always having a bad day with the dice, but that's beside the point.
That's a normal day for Jeff. It's a bad day for somebody else.
Yeah.
So just to go over this stuff, one thing that I wanted to ask for your input on is what was one thing that stood out to you guys that happened in the game? Jeremy, you always have something to say.
Stood out to me just because of my character Grayson and his side quests, or what his personality lends him to focus on. Was when you mentioned when Cyril sort of let slip that Dencham House.
Yeah.
He has a thing for the Queen, which they're actually opposing churches.
Yeah.
So that could be a nice bit of dirt and secret to hold over somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting to say that, I think Jess said his character was quite upset about how things went.
Oh, yeah.
And in opposition to that, Grayson is probably just like licking his chops that it's like, ooh, I got all this new information now. Yeah, things didn't go according to plan, but guess what? That's a good thing, because all this extra stuff happened that he can use now.
That one guy just gave so much useful information in 3 sentences. I was like, I like this kid.
Yeah.
Talks a lot.
Yeah, Cyril, he thinks he's on the up and up, that he's going places in the world, but he's not first off, he came down to gloat. And to look at someone who he doesn't really like and say, ha ha ha, look at you. And yeah, he was Archer number 3. I don't know how that kid became such a crack shot, but
man,
he's the one that shot us all.
Yeah,
he could have been Archer number 2. That took out in 1 shot.
Well, then he would be dead.
Well, then as half my goal is accomplished.
Yeah, Cyril's going to come back.
Yeah,
I like haunting you guys with side characters and everything like that. So
you do.
It makes the story.
So Jeff, what was one thing that stood out to you about what happened in the game?
There was one thing that I wanted to do, but it turned out okay that it didn't happen that way. Was when Mike's character Valentine went up to question the kid who was hurt in the robbery.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted him to ask if he recognized any of the people, but we ended up finding out who it was, and thank you for that, Jordan.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah, I was definitely in the midst of the battle that we had. Every time I was we were going, I was like, all right, we gotta leave one of them alive. We gotta leave one of us alive, please.
Yeah, pretty
That's
much.
insane.
Yeah, honestly, if you had done a bit of a better investigation check on the prayer book, if you had like opened it up to the first page, the Crest for Densham house was on the first page of the book.
Well, I did open it up and start.
But you were so you were
okay.
kind of like in the middle of the book from the way you had described it.
Okay.
So, and also I don't think your role was quite that good.
No, it wasn't.
No.
I'm also kind of mad at myself because if I were actually this character, I would have went to that site a lot more cautious, looking around for
Yeah.
an ambush, because
The only reason that they were back was because they had dropped a Riemann prayer book.
yeah,
Like one of the highwaymen had actually dropped a very important.
yeah, and learning that even though we were unconscious,
Yeah.
all four of us were unconscious. Learning that out of game
Yeah.
was like, a big puzzle piece.
Yeah.
Well, I knew that was a Riemann prayer book.
Right.
Yeah.
Determined that right before the ambush.
But you didn't know who it belonged to.
No, I did not
So-
know who it belonged to yet.
Yeah, all the pieces kind of fit together for that, which was pretty fun. How about you, Mike? Was there anything that stood out for you in the game?
Not so much any particular scenes, but it's always kind of interesting how the luck of the dice roll can drastically alter the storyline of where you're going in the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I had Valentine, I had a lot of different goals set for him throughout this campaign that with those dice rolls, like, all right, well, I'm not going to do that. Oh, I'm definitely not doing that. I just hope now I stay alive.
Yeah.
And then I was looking, like, is it just me? And I'm realizing, no, wait, we're all kind of incapacitated here.
Yeah,
We're all
no.
pretty down.
Yeah, no. My dice were streaky today. I had like 3 or 4 6s on my wild die. So that really hurt the party in the long run. I should have probably stopped at maybe three archers and 1 swordsman rather than 4 archers and 2 swordsmen. But this system is so unbalanced anyway. It was like, yeah, they'll probably take these all down with no problems anyway. So
I'm just glad that we don't go with the static.
yeah, static would have brutalized you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It would have cut that a lot shorter.
Well, isn't there something in there in the book that if you decide to you can decide to, I'm just going to purely dodge,
yes.
that adds 10,
Mm-hmm.
and then that just means you don't get a next action. That
Yeah.
means you,
Yeah. You don't get
Yeah.
an attack.
Yeah, so there's the full dodge.
yeah.
The character does nothing except dodge until his next turn. Roll dodge, add 10, and apply range and cover as usual. This result is useful against any number of attacks. So, like, if you chose to only dodge for your action, then you would have been almost unstoppable. Like, no one would have hit you, but you wouldn't have hit anybody else either.
Yeah, until someone stopped shooting at you. And
Right.
You could have a turn
Yeah,
where you didn't
exactly.
have to dodge.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So I did know that with the way that the archers were going, I knew it was going to be a bit of a death box, but I didn't know it was going to be that severe of one.
yeah, I originally thought from the description that they were all on one ridge.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what all of us
Yeah.
thought.
That they were all on one
I should have
ridge.
described that a little better, but yeah, I had the idea that it was 2 on one side and 2 on the other, and they were all 4 firing in.
Because if they were all on one ridge, what I would have tried to do, and it would again have been super hard to do, was, especially since 3 of the other player characters were engaged with
Swordsman.
swordsmen,
Yeah.
I was going to try and teleport myself behind them,
Yeah,
and then just pick them off from behind.
yeah.
Which is another thing that, I mean, I don't know if you could probably tell by the rolls, and we talked about it a little bit. Magic is super hard to use.
It is.
Really,
It's super hard.
to use.
Well,
So you gotta use your character points to boost up your skill.
Well, we learned that when we were playing Terra Proximus, that
Well-
magic was really hard to use.
Yeah,
But these spells that Grayson has, he has 4. 3 of the 4 are very difficult or heroic for
Yeah.
just to succeed with.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So
It's like if you're going to build a magical character in this system, you have to focus completely on magic and like put no dice in anything else.
Right. It was the same way with the old West End games, Star Wars.
Yeah, like
If you were going to be a
Jedi.
Jedi, you had to put everything in your Jedi, otherwise your Jedi couldn't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. So Johnny, was there one thing that stood out to you about what happened in the game?
Well, what stood out to me is, I guess the Hound.
The hound was amazing. The dog, that was just something that was...
Because it just kept coming, and the guards just paid no attention to it at all. If it was a properly trained hound...
They would have had somebody with it.
Well, not necessarily had somebody with it, but if it starts baying like that and takes off, then they know there's something going on. But apparently that dog does that kind of thing, so it wasn't properly trained.
Right.
But it was very strong.
Yeah.
I mean, the dog only had like 2D in all of his skill, so he shouldn't have been as badass as he was, but...
There was another thing that...
And now I need a new coat.
That really stood out to me, though, was when we were escaping, we were making a lot of noise, and we didn't try to be super stealthy until we were trying to get the door out of its place and escape the room itself. And then when we were wandering through the halls, we saw absolutely nobody.
That's because everybody was in the worship service.
Yeah.
It was mandatory for them all to be there.
Yeah.
Ah. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
But it was still, like, so eerily empty that I was like, something terrible is going to happen. We will die.
Yeah. Yeah. It was close, too. Surprisingly. But, yeah, the dog actually worked a lot better than I thought it was going to, because I thought it was just going to be, like, something to help speed things up. But then, Mike, those dice hate you, man.
Oh, they hated me with a passion today. Like, they kind of were picking on all of us, but, man, they're just like,
It's
you.
Yeah, you're just going to be...
cannot run.
Yeah.
And you can't really, like, use charisma on a dog, like, good puppy. He's like, no, I'm going to...
I was like, I was trying to think, this might be my last ditch effort. It's crazy and off the walls. It sounds like maybe it might work. I was like...
It would have been great if it did, but, man.
Yeah.
It just wasn't in the cards because the dog was so vicious.
Yeah.
All right. So next session. Now, do you have, like a scene that you would like to see? Someone you would like to interact with? Like a piece of imagery that flashes in your mind that would be really cool to see in the next game? Is there somebody you want to explore in a little bit more detail, like what's going on? Like maybe would you like to go talk to Will Cooper again, or talk to to Master Ambrose, or?
Well, my question is, with the information that we gathered, would the Royal Guard or military be able to go and seize the Densham estates and search for the gears?
Not for the gears, but they could go in there just off the worship.
Yeah. The worship, the Riemann Church that's operating there could cause a problem for them, but it just depends on how Walsham wants to handle things.
Yeah.
My estimation is that he sees like the worship of a splinter group as small potatoes compared to what's actually happening.
Well, but see, it's also the connection to the carriage because we did find the book there.
Right, exactly. So you know that there's something going on with this, but you're talking about something that is bigger than someone just stealing something. So
yes.
You got to kind of play it out to see where things are going. Most likely, from my jamming thoughts.
From that most likely would be something like, oh yeah, that's a way we can get in there, but we need to have more information so we know exactly where the gears are, so that when we go in there we can just get them and get out rather than drawing attention to, hey, we're looking for these gears.
Right, exactly.
Well, one thought we could do, off the top of my head, is get the army to go in because of the worship and use that as a distraction while we search the grounds.
If they're not there, then that could be a horrible tip-off.
Yep.
Could be, yeah.
So, just some things to think about. Okay, so points. We're going to go ahead and give everybody points.
Oh, question.
Yes, sir.
And this was happening in game last episode. In my note to Cyril, I used my quote. Does that count?
No.
Oh, okay.
I noticed that, and I was like, does he get the point for it?
I was hoping. Because, before we give out hero points, I think this is the session, even like Terra Proximus, where the most hero points were spent in one session.
Yeah.
I know
there was a lot
received
spent
2 hero points
and you
in addition
through.
to the 3.
Yeah.
And I burned through all of them. So I spent 5 hero points.
Yeah.
And
Jeff spent
like that
2.
never happens.
No, I spent 3 of them.
Yeah.
Jeff got an extra one.
Jeff
I got an extra one at the beginning of our session here, and
Yeah,
then
Jeff got 2
another
also.
one later on. So I got 2 extra ones. So I used 3.
Yeah, I use 5.
I didn't use any.
Of course, Johnny. Johnny never uses hero points.
So we'll say
Mike
because
used a couple as well.
the game seemed to require them.
Oh, it did.
So this time around
Definitely
for
saved
this
my
session,
character's
for Terra Proximus, because it was a horror setting, I used the idea of if you burn it, it's completely gone until you can figure out a way to refresh it. This game, it seems like it's not a horror game. It's more of a adventure game. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit of a different tone. And also, it's not as... You're not supposed to die as quickly. You know,
yeah, we did kind of die very quickly.
In a horror game. So I'm going to go ahead and let you all refresh your hero points up to 3 points for the beginning of each game. So yeah, just go ahead and make a quick note of that. In terms of points from me, I remember when we were doing Terra Proximus, I only gave out, 4 points, 5 points each?
Something like that.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
It's going to be...
It was like 4, yeah.
Yeah, it was really stingy. Again, keeping in the spirit of this game and trying to get you guys to advance and everything, I'm going to go ahead and award you 10 points each.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a lot of points.
That is a lot.
Just write 10, 10
Character
CP
points.
Because how you use them is...
to boost your different
To
skills.
boost, yeah.
This will help you guys grow,
So
get a lot faster.
I only need
I can boost my magic from 5.
I only need 60 more points and I can boost my might.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because you need the times
10.
times 10.
Well, yeah, I know.
So, let's go ahead and ask our normal questions. So, who do you think had the best role playing? I thought Mike did a pretty good job, like getting the information from Cooper, and he also had some good moments, like role playing out how he was falling to the ground and everything like that.
I like to always be a little, not I guess like over dramatic with the characters, just to add a little fun and quirkiness to the game.
I don't know. I think Jeremy did a pretty good job.
Kind of getting us all out of those jams.
Well, getting us out of the jams, but focusing on the way his character is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how he would respond to certain situations. Like when he tried to go invisible at the
like in the privy.
Yeah, when he was headed to the privy and tried to go invisible, he was like, "Try it. Nope, I'm good. Let's go."
Well, that was a poop that came out, not a...
Do you mind if I go to the bathroom?
That can get anybody running there. It's like, oh, goodbye.
I mean, I thought Johnny's character, this is kind of, sort of a funny moment when we were trying to figure out how to get to the north side of the town. Johnny's character is like, let's go on the rooftops.
Yeah.
And everybody else is like, what?
What?
No. Well, why would you do?
Yeah.
The fastest way across town.
I expected you, like, when I gave you a chimney, I expected you to go, well.
I thought about it. I did think about it. But
scurry right up that.
they would not have been able to get up there.
No, but you could have, like, yelled down directions to them or something.
I did think about it.
Oh yeah, that would have been good.
But I did use the chimney to establish where we were in the building.
I did like that.
That
too.
was really good.
Yeah, so that was really good. So
I was gonna say I definitely did enjoy the quirkiness of Byram's just infatuation with chimneys. Like, ooh, is there a chimney here? Hello. It's like
It's what I do.
It's what you do, but it's just like it's like basically like a gnome
passion.
to a shoe, you know.
Like I said, Jeremy made a comment. This is a spy. I'm not a spy. A spy is third in my life.
Yeah.
Chimneys, theater, then spying.
Then espionage.
yeah, did I say? I think I said that off air.
Yeah.
It's like out of all of our 4 characters, every other character is trying to be someone else. Like trying to be a watchmaker, clockmaker, trying to be a chimney sweep, trying to be an actor, and Grayson is just like, I deal in information.
Yeah.
That's who I am.
You're like a young James Bond type of character.
Yeah. So
I get recruited as a spy just because I interact with so many different levels of people.
Right, because you have so many social contacts.
Yes.
So it seems like it's a tough call for
my
you guys.
vote would be for Johnny.
Johnny?
Yeah.
My vote's for Jeremy.
Yeah, my vote is for Jeremy as well.
Same for Jeremy.
Started for Jeremy? Okay.
Sweet.
We'll go ahead and give Jeremy an extra point.
Real quick, there's one thing that we didn't do that my character really wanted him to do was have time to sit down and like map out what we're gonna do and how much time it was gonna take it. All these things. I want my character to be like very intricate on all these.
So
details.
you want to really plan out how I can screw you over.
Yes.
Well, be sure to bring a list of how and why, where I can mess your life up.
We can
next
say
time.
that, Jeff, here's how you do that. You write your plans down and then pass them out between the four of us. So we know what the plans are. But Jordan does not.
But that ruins the podcast.
Oh, no, it won't.
No,
it would
it
still
won't.
get screwed up royally. It would still get screwed up
You will
royally.
still mess it up, but now it's not quite so easy for you to mess it up.
You guys know.
It'll get messed up in one or
Jordan,
two ways as
Look
opposed
who
to
you're
50.
playing with.
Yes.
Look, guys,
I mess myself up all the time.
I know you do. But what I do to you guys, I do out of love. I do out of love because I care. And I know that you guys really don't want it easy. Really. Maybe Mike does because he's new, but he'll learn.
See, if we were
We'll see.
in the main house of the building, I would have used my architecture knowledge to map out where we were, like the layout of the house.
Okay.
But since we were in the side house, it wasn't necessary.
Yeah. So, who do you think advanced their character the most? I know it wasn't a very big character-driven episode at this point, but there was a lot of stuff that happened that were small character moments and everything like that.
Well, let's recap the things that happened. Because Johnny had his apprenticeship overseeing with Toad.
Yeah.
He had several moments of that. Jeremy had his interaction with his love's older brother, his mortal enemy at
And
this point.
I would have to say, towards Grayson's goal, that was a big step in Grayson's goal because he now has more dirt
Yeah.
on Cyril.
For Demetrius, he lost some of his items, so he now has to work harder to get to some of his goals. And then Valentine, I don't remember what your goals were.
So
Pretty much.
he has a goal to get even with his enemy Templeton.
Yeah. We didn't encounter him at all. It wasn't even like a mention. Yeah, I don't think I didn't really necessarily accomplish any of my goals per se. I had a few ideas of trying to get a few of those done, but the die botches
The dice worked
screwed
against
that
you.
up big
Yeah.
time.
Though I did get part of one of mine to serve the
Serve
crown.
Yeah, that's kind of a standard, you know.
It's
the
like
game.
a long-lasting through the game.
it's like,
To do what?
Serve the crown.
To do my best to serve the crown.
Yeah.
So
So I mean, actually, as actual character advancement, I think Jeremy's with the most, just because of his interactions with what's his name?
with Cyril,
Yeah,
with
Cyril.
Cyril.
I liked seeing Jeff get to interact with the
With the
horologist
masters.
guild.
Yeah,
that
that,
was
I like
fun.
that too. Finding out he wasn't the best.
Yeah, which it sort of is a step back from.
Yeah.
His goals, but
I just realized this. Jeff and we have very similar characters, but like
You went slightly different.
just out of phase from each other.
Mm-hmm.
So we have similar things, but what works for me doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
Or what works for you doesn't work for me, even though we have some of the same like dealings and things like that. Like where everything needs to be in order and everything has to go perfectly planned. If things go chaotically, that's good for me.
Yeah. If things don't go chaotic, that's good for me.
Well, and also one thing that I loved about how your goals butted against each other. You have the goal of having the latest craving, which is most likely something illegal, and he has the goal of not getting caught with anything illegal.
Yeah.
So we talked about this a little bit when we were talking about our characters. It seems like the smuggling, our relationship as smugglers, is something that I roped you into. Yeah. Like I maybe came up to your clockmaking shop and says, "Hey, I've got this stuff. Can you store it here for a week?" And then I'll come in, and then I kept coming back to you to store more.
That's very
stuff.
possible. I mean, I do have my dealings as a previous thief, which is one of my complications is skeletons in the closet.
Right.
I would have sympathy towards the plight of the criminal, but
I broached it to you as, it's just this one-time thing.
Yeah.
Just this one-time thing. and then through my persuasion.
I'm sorry, man, but I had to come back. You did such a great time last time.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I don't really know how to play the really gloomy, cynical kind of character, so it's a challenge for me in doing that. I'm used to.
You'll learn it.
I'm used to either stoic or snarky type characters.
No, I love like you were like, I want to do something like a blacksmith, or maybe a shoesmith, or maybe a clockmaker, and I'm like, clockmaker? Huh? Perfect. So, yeah, and I know the character is a little stretch for you.
Yeah.
That's just
I built
the
the personality to be a challenge for myself.
Yeah. No, but he's a. I think that he's got a lot of interesting stuff built into him. So.
Mm-hmm.
So voting time. Now that we've had a little bit of discussion.
Well, it sounded like Jeremy had the most advancement of character. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jeremy again.
Are we going to attempt to vote on snacks?
Yeah.
We can. Unfortunately, my bagels are out of the picture.
I mean, we could, and you could just give.
I could.
To
That's
whoever
happened
you want.
before too.
Yes, it has.
I mean, I don't normally eat bagels and cream cheese often enough, so that was a good
Yeah, it was nice. It was
treat.
like Jackie
It's
was.
like, oh yeah.
My
So-
wife was like, "Here's a whole bunch of bagels left over from my swim meet." And I'm like, "Okay, now I know what to bring to the game."
Yeah, I didn't have time to make more jerky.
I was thinking about that yesterday. Johnny made jerky for the New Year's party. I was like, man, what do I if Johnny brings that jerky, it's over.
Yeah.
Johnny's gonna win.
I don't know. Those almonds were pretty.
The
darn
almonds were
delicious.
really
The almonds were
Yes.
good. Yeah, so I found those at just the grocery store. They're
The wasabi.
wasabi, soy sauce, almonds from that Blue Diamond.
Blue Diamond makes a lot of good
Nut
Yeah.
things.
nut-based treats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
So
I brought beverages because
Because it's your
because
house.
we're here.
yes, I'm here and I was trying to be a host.
No water, coffee, tea. Very nice. Thank you, sir.
So I vote bagels.
Vote bagels.
I vote wasabi.
Wasabi.
I vote wasabi too.
Wasabi.
I go for the wasabi because I'm not a fan of bagels.
All right. Well, Jeremy, you
Jeremy
racked
got
up
all
on
three of them.
Yeah.
extra points.
I vote Meow
Yeah.
Mix.
You vote what?
Meow Mix.
Yeah,
Chex Mix.
Chex Mix.
Meow mix.
That's what we call as Meow Mix.
Yeah, because the original recipe, it looks like
Cat food.
Looks like the
the
Yeah.
original Meow Mix, like came in a
Oh
can.
yeah.
And we used to keep it in a can,
a Meow Mix
a
can.
Meow Mix can.
Oh.
So, no,
Well, after it had been washed out.
wasn't like,
Well, I mean, just you walk into your house, you just.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Cat food? No! I thought you guys were civilized. Well, I should have known better. But, all right. Mike, I hope you enjoyed your first session
I
with
did.
these guys.
I did. I have ideas now.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you know, honestly, characters, they say that plot doesn't survive contact with the players. Honestly,
Huh.
characters don't survive initial expectations until first session of play.
Yeah.
You know, and then that really makes people start thinking about what's going on.
Yeah, you have to get through the first couple of sessions to know who your character is, how you're playing it, how they interact with the world.
Yeah.
I like that none of us have any strength. We all have
Oh, we all
2D
got
or
crushed.
less.
Yeah.
Like,
there was
I
a few
guess-
times I thought we were all
That's it.
just gonna
I
die.
only need 60 more character points.
We all built characters that are more of, hey, I'm going to try and weasel my way out of this situation rather than fight my way.
I built
Yeah.
my character just like a chimney sweep.
You build
And
your
I
character
built-
like you always build your character.
My character that way was because that's not something I had done before.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do
I put a lot more in agility this time than I normally do.
All right. Well, I think we can call it good at this point. Thank you so much for listening. Tune in next time when we continue on with the adventures of the Guards of the Angels.
the Angel's Guard.
The Angels Guard. That too. That too. I'll need to write that down. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Thank you for listening to Bone Throwers Theater. Our cast is Jeff, Jeremy, Johnny, Mike, and Jordan. We are releasing this podcast under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 3.0 Unported license. That means that you can share the podcast, but please do not modify it or try to gain financially from it. If you would like to visit our website, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater.com. If you would like to send us an email, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is @bonethrowerstheater, and also you can look us up on Facebook and Google+. And until next time, may the bones fall ever in your favor. This has been a Nerd Circle podcast production.